Live there now. See, hopefully, so let's tweet this out as well, so people know that I'm alive. I'm alive. I am live, I should say. Oh look, it still says Twitter. Weirdly, when you share, that's weird. Live streaming it now. Alright, so I'll give people on that a couple of minutes and that to join up, but yeah, hopefully the title itself explains what this live stream is going to be about. It's going to be talking a bit about the B&M prices and other stuff, but also stuff about the Ian Lavigne animation, because I do have some more information. I can only give so much information away with this. Come away like to talk about so much, but yeah, more people joining. Go and give it a minute. I'm going to have a drink of water. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what like time the size it should be. I'll probably go from like 4:30 to 5:30, but if there's anything any of yours want to ask or see in that, feel free to. Probably in the second half I'll go through all of the comics and that, reading every single thing out so you can read everything in that. So yeah, hopefully this should all be good and hunky-dory. So yeah, again, we'll give it a couple of minutes. Give it a couple of minutes more. Yeah. Been going according to this 2 minutes, so when we get 3 minutes I'll start things properly and give a proper introduction. Yeah, doing this on a Thursday. The reason is just because I had some time free for doing this. That's why I'm doing it today and not doing it tomorrow. So apologies if this was inconvenience and that. It's just unfortunately the only convenient time I'm able to do this stream. So yeah, I'll start explaining. So in terms of like the Ian Lavigne animation, I made a video about that a little while back, saying why isn't there a test animation shown? There is a test animation, and I've seen it. And calling it that is very generous. It's 20 seconds long. It's 20 seconds long. And animation, God. Thing is, I can't really show you it, unfortunately, because the minute I do, this live stream will get taken down, unfortunately. But it is an unlisted video on Ian Lavigne's YouTube channel. It's not a private video, just an unlisted video on Ian Lavigne's YouTube channel. Which, I think, let's see, how many views did it have last time? 122 views. But just to show that, I won't show the bit, I'll just show this, just to show this is real. That is real. So, yeah. Unfortunately, even calling it limited animation, that would be like basically, the mouths are basically puppet mouths that move. Like they're not they literally just move like this, and they're not even in sync with what's being said, and there's no expression in it. And it is literally just 20 seconds of one character. In fact, I'll play the audio. I'll play the audio.
What do you want? I am looking for Charles Chrysler.
So yeah, unfortunately I can't show that clip, unfortunately, but it's terrible. And I also have more information about it as well, about the Ian Lavigne animation. If I Where's that screenshot I had? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I'll show you a screenshot. Actually, no, I won't show the screenshot, but I'll show part of it and I'll read the rest of it out. Because again, the person who sent me this information does not want to be known, which I don't blame them for. But I'll cover. So this is it. So I'm just going to read this out. Ian Lavigne gives his PayPal and that information, which is fair enough. But he gives 3 YouTube links. Though one of them was to a video that was already seen by a lot of people, which was the first 4 or 5 minutes of Dalek's master plan, which is very limited animation, which I've seen before, but the main one was that. Anyway, the interesting thing at this message, at the bottom, Ian Lavigne said, anything is appreciated, but it is not worth chipping in anything less than £100. Just to prove that is what it says at the bottom. That's what it actually says it. So people were saying to me, oh, Ian Lavigne will accept any amount. Just like, no. Like, he is literally saying there, it is not worth chipping in anything less than £100. Which just like, literally in 2023, people do not have tons of money to just throw away at it. And if the animation clip, if that is the bloody animation that he is going to put out there, just like, fucking hell. Fan animations which are out there for nothing, have much better actual animation than those. This is just shit. It feels less than bare minimum. It is literally, I really wish I could show it to you, but I know the second I do, even on this live stream, and even probably sharing this information, the second I do, Ian Lavigne is going to come down at me at like a ton of bricks. So yeah, seems to have another one, because like, piss off Aldebaran, I'm probably going to piss off Ian Lavigne just as much. So, yeah, just, no. Also seeing it'll take a year to make, which, okay, yeah, fair enough. If anything, it would probably take longer. The price is £20,000. 2,000 already paid. Now, £20,000. Thing is, though, like, if that animation comes out like that, and that is that is not £20,000 worth of animation. Animation is expensive, but that is not £20,000 worth of animation. That animation, I'm not joking, you could do that in a fucking day. It is literally 20 seconds of a couple of bits of mouth movement going like that. That's it. That is it. That is the great test animation. Like, seriously, like, you know, if you're going to do a test animation, fine, but like, that was, I really wish I could show you how fucking, you know what, Ian Lavigne is going to kill me if I show you this. Can I show a few seconds of the mouth movement if I just hold the phone up to the camera? Also, interestingly, he said it's going to be 4:3. That's, I don't know if you, I'll turn the brightness up. That's 16:9. Just be that is 16:9. So is he going to be cropping it, or is it cropped for the test? I'm gonna show a few niggles, a niggle of the mouth movement just to show it. Okay, you ready for this?
You want?
I don't know if I don't think that you actually saw that anything there, so maybe it won't get, but God, it's just so bad. It's just so bad. You know, and just the way it's been going on about like that, like people going, oh yeah, like I'm not surprised that the BBC on, he's not even bothering to go to the BBC about this, which I'm not surprised about with that quality. Like, see what you will, what happened over a decade ago without him paying the animators, but at least that Mission to the Unknown, that was proper animation. That was properly done, proper animation, that was a professional and finished production. This is not that. This is not that. Like, seriously, this feels like my first time animating type thing. That is just, yeah, it's just embarrassingly just, like, be honest, like, seriously, you're better off watching a loose cannon. If the rest of the animation is going to be like that, just stick to a loose cannon recon. And from what they're doing in there, it sounds like they probably using loose cannon's audio. I can't confirm that one, but just the slight hiss and that does sound like loose cannon audio they're using. So yeah, I mean, it's just a thing of, plus he wants the money there and then. He wants that money like up front, basically. Yeah. Plus, like £2,000, £2,000 he's put down. Has he, like, to be honest? I would love to know who is animating that. The animator. I would love to speak to some animators who are animating that. Because it's no one who's currently involved with the current animation of the Got 2 animations. There's no one from them. Although they probably won't be allowed to work with anyway. So I'd like to know who is. Because from the looks of it, from the looks of that test animation, what he has done, I mean, I'm almost certain this is what has been done, is basically they've drawn around the loose cannon reconstruction in the telesnaps, of basically drawn over them, and then just animated the mouse like moving like that, and like for a very quick 20-second sort of teaser thing, and that is it. And the way it moves as well is really weird. It's just, so yeah, that is basically how that test animations we got. It could have even been done by Ian Lavigne himself, for all I know. I want to know who, like, I'm gonna have a look at the description actually. Does the description tell me anything? No. The only thing in the description is it just says work in progress. Nothing else, and yeah. So yeah, just all I'm gonna say is, like, I recommend you do not give your money to Ian Lavigne. I know people want this, but honestly, just like with the way Ian Levigne's track record is, I would not be throwing your money that way, because there's no guarantee that it'll get finished, because there's a load of Ian Lavigne projects in the past that people have donated money to get all these, projects, reconstructions or other things done in the past where they've just not happened. Or if they did happen, if they were happening, they either never got finished, or if they did get finished, like the Mission to the Unknown did, he didn't actually pay the actual animators who made it. So yeah, all I'll say is, because I mean, you're welcome to if you want to, but I personally wouldn't. And plus, just he wants basically just for you to just send the money there and then, £100 there and then. Like, the more logical thing to do would be to set up, even if you didn't go through Indiegogo or Kickstarter or whatever, would be to set up some sort of like tier payment scheme to say, oh, pay this much. See if this is going to take a year. Say if you pay this much, a month, I don't know, 10, 15 quid a month, and that's like you'll get all these little updates and that's all behind the scenes stuff, and that happens. But basically, from what that message says, is basically give me £100 or more, preferably more. Like, give me at least £100, and this animation will get done. That's basically that's basically where it starts and where it ends. Which, yeah, it's. I want, the thing is though, I really want this to be done. I want this to be good and I want it to happen. I really do. I honestly do. But there's just no guarantee, and the fact he wants, to just send the money there and send it via, friends and family, so he gets the full amount, and there's no protection if you do it that way. It's just no. Unfortunately, it's hard because I do want stories and that to be animated, but for me, it is just enough. If you're wondering why I'm drinking so much water, it's bloody boiling in here. My throat's quite dry. But yeah, I mean, people are saying, "Oh, get one day AI will do all the Doctor animation." It's like people who say that AI will take over and just do everything. It's like, have you seen what AI can do? Like, even if you fed it all the information in the world, it's like the technology is not there yet. It is nowhere near there yet. One day, yeah, if we were talking about maybe in 5-10 years time, maybe, but today it's like, nah, it's not there. It's nowhere near there. But yeah, it's a sad note. On a slightly, depending on how you look at it, on a slightly better note, B&M prices, the 2-packs, the Dalek 2-packs are going to be the same as they were last year. And assumingly, well, the 3-pack will probably also be the same price on that as well. The TARDIS set being $24.99, which, fair enough, since it doesn't have the electronic. Like, that price, okay. Personally, I would have been happy to pay £35 if it had the electronics. If it had the electronics, fine. It would have been, obviously it would have been more money, which would have still been annoying, but I don't mind paying more for something if you get, like, for example, if you get your money's worth and that out of it. I don't mind paying more for quality, basically. Obviously, if you're not getting, the quality and that out of it, then, yeah. Like, that's why, for example, I buy, the limited edition versions of the Blu-ray sets and that, because I do like the collector style packaging, even though it's flimsy as fuck and they need to do something about it. They really need to do something about it. Yeah, because if I wanted to wait and save money, then I just buy the standard editions, and that is all my water gone. So yeah, is this still going? Is this stream still going? Actually, I should probably check up on that. Is it still going? Yeah, it is. Okay. So yeah, something I wanted to talk about, and something I didn't actually realise, and I hadn't realised this for years, and that's only because I just started rewatching it. Something that has me worried about the upcoming Doctor Who Series 1 to 4 Blu-ray set, the newly remastered, newly upscaled, I should say, version, is the Doctor Who Blu-rays for Series 1 to 4 and the specials, the current Blu-ray releases that are available here in the UK, they are NTSC conversions. I did not realise this. They are NTSC conversions. Yeah, all of them. Basically, from Series 1 to 4 and the specials, they are all the NTSC versions. Now, what does that mean? Because that'll probably mean nothing to most people. Basically, what it means is, when they basically were releasing Doctor Who on DVD and Blu-ray and that in the US, what they do to convert them from PAL, which is what they natively are here in the UK, because they're filmed in PAL and they're mastered in PAL, which is basically 576 interlaced, so 576i, but at 25 frames a second. However, in the US, that is NTSC, which is at 480p at 30 frames a second. So how do you do that? So basically, what they do is essentially they slow it down. So basically, if you're in the US and you buy Doctor Who Series 1 through 4 on DVD or Blu-ray over there, it's actually slightly slower. It is the thing is though, generally you won't notice it. Generally, like, you will not notice it. But the only times you do notice it is when any, like, music is playing. For example, the theme tune, you'll notice it's at a slightly lower pitch, because the amount it is, it's very, very slow. It's zero. I think it's, yeah, if I remember rightly, it's 0.01% slow. I've actually got a screenshot somewhere of the percentage, and if I find it, I will show you. Yeah, I don't have it to hand. Don't think I've got it to hand. No, I don't, because I once had to convert an NTSC Blu-ray back to PAL, and basically had to do the reverse and speeding it back up. But yeah, basically, though, what that means is when they did the Blu-ray releases for Series 1 through 4, they only did one new master of them, and for some bizarre reason, they only did an NTSC version. Because remember, they came out on Blu-ray in the US first, and when they came over to doing the UK versions, rather than redoing them or even just speeding them up to be the correct speed for PAL, they just put the US versions on there. The special features on there are still PAL though, but the actual main features aren't, which is really weird, especially for The End of Time and Planet of the Dead and that, which were already, mastered in 1080p PAL. I'm interested to know whether the original vanilla releases, the individual releases of those stories, were in PAL on the individual Blu-rays. I'm interested about that. I'm curious about that. If anyone does have them, let me know, because I know that isn't the case on the box sets. It isn't the case on the box sets, at least the latest ones, because I own them, and they are unfortunately, PAL. I mean, for more NTSC, unfortunately, for most people, they probably won't be bothered, won't be a fuss, but for me personally, it is a slight annoyance. It is a slight annoyance. And if you want to, if you have the UK DVDs, any of the releases of the UK DVDs, they are PAL. They will be PAL. So with those, you don't have to worry about that. But it's just a concern. It is just a concern. Maybe with these they might have it, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? Depends who did the master for them. Depends who did the masters for them, whether they were done in the US or the UK. But yeah, the thing is though, they didn't need to convert them to NTSC. Why did they convert? Like, seriously, they don't need to have a separate NTSC and PAL versions, because basically modern TVs can play PAL and NTSC video. like, it's been the case since the bloody late 90s, at least, that televisions, whether it is in the UK, the US, they can both play PAL and NTSC video. Back in the past, 60s, 70s, 80s, and that, and 90s and that as well. The reason you had, NTSC and PAL and that, and they were incompatible with each other is because they were, different formats. Whereas now, there isn't really a difference in terms of the formats. The only difference between PAL and NTSC today is the resolution and the format. Basically, the resolution and the frame rate, should I say. So today, basically, standard definition for UK is 576 interlaced, US it's 480 interlaced. For HD, it's the same resolution across the board. The only difference is the frame rates. Ours is 25, theirs is 30. The only way, in fact, the only time that, the two sort of interlock is, for example, if a film, generally most films are in 24 frames a second, so then they kind of just overlap and it's the same. But yeah, this is really annoying. And it works the other way around as well. For example, I used to get the Scooby-Doo DVDs, direct-to-video films, on DVD as they came out, and those are sped up because they're PAL. They need to be sped up. So yeah, it works both ways. The fact that this is something that still happens to this day. I understand why they do it on the DVDs, but the Blu-rays, they don't need to do that. They don't need to. As far as I'm aware, on the collection sets, they don't do that. On the collection sets, they don't, which is also a big incentive to a lot of US buyers for buying the Blu-ray sets, because those are not the NTSC conversions. They are proper PAL conversions, which means, one, they get a bit of a resolution jump, but the main thing is they're running at the correct speed. So, yeah, I know I've whittled on a lot about this, but it is just something really bloody irritating. On BBC iPlayer, they are the correct PAL versions, although they're not upscaled on iPlayer. But if you're watching Doctor Who on BBC iPlayer, you're watching the correct original versions and that, or if you own the DVDs. But yeah, something I thought I'd mention there. Oh boy, I went on that one tangent on that for a while, but yeah, something I thought I'd better mention to people. Being again interested to see whether this new one will be that or not. I've got a feeling it's probably going to be NTSC, though. I've really got a feeling that it's going to be NTSC. Hopefully it's not. But yeah, now for Max Smith, basically Series 5 onwards, they are PAL across the board. Because basically they were already masked at 1080p in PAL, so they were PAL across the board, so don't have to worry about them. But yeah, it's really annoying, especially the ones that were already in HD. But again, most people probably wouldn't notice. But the thing is, though, if you do know and you do notice, you can't really unnotice it. Hello, Bagwell 4. So yeah. Oh boy, it's had a bloody tension. Right. So anyway, yeah, B&M sets are coming out next month. Again, we don't know an exact date, and again, it'll depend on where you live and that as well. But basically, mid to late September. I mean, my money is on the later half of September. If I'm wrong, great. But we'll see. I mean, they should basically by October should be in across the board, and it should be easier to get them all because one, there's only 3 different sets. the TARDIS set will be the hardest one to get because there's only 6 of those per box. And a store will only get one of those boxes at a time. In fact, probably most stores only get 1 box of them. Yeah. But the TARDIS sets will generally be the hardest thing to get, so get those first. The Dalek set should actually be easier to get, theoretically. Because, basically, if you don't know the reason we're only getting 1 3-pack later in the year is because this year B&M have gone, we don't want, tons of 3-packs because they're basically just shelf warmers and they're just sitting there on the shelves. I mean, basically, you can find at most B&Ms, at least most B&Ms in my area, you can basically find all the 3-pack skill there, essentially. The only one you may struggle a little bit with now, although not that much, is the 8th Doctor one, but again, you can still find it very easily. So yeah, B&M don't want that. They see that, oh, the Dalek sets sell out almost immediately. Let's double our order of Dalek sets, rather than, going in with more 3-packs, because, again, that is just where the money is. That is the logical thing to do. B&M is going where the money is, where the market is. The market wants more Daleks. B&M's going to order more Daleks. There you go. Because that's just where the money is. That makes sense. That is not an Aldebar decision. That is not an Aldebar decision. That is a B&M decision. That is a B&M decision. Bagwellforce says, how come they don't do new Who anymore? That's Aldebar. What do you mean new? What, you mean in the B&M sets? Sorry, have you been falling asleep during the B&M sets? Because last year we got a Jodie set and we got that 9th Doctor set. There's 2 new series sets. And later this year we are getting a new series Dalek set. So, yeah, we're still getting new series stuff, but the reason it's up to Aldebar. This year. Oh, we did. At the start of this year, we got the 14th Doctor Regeneration set. Or 13th, whatever it was called. We got that at the start of the year. We're getting a Dalek set, a new series Dalek set later on. We just had a Sonic Screwdriver release. The Daleks do not cost 20p to make. The Daleks do not cost 20p to make. I can tell you that right now, they don't. According to Aldebar, the Daleks cost, it is $12.50 per Dalek. Which I don't believe, because if they were $12.50 per Dalek, then that would mean the sets would cost £25 to make, which is nah. I would say a bit less than that. Basically, I can tell you right now, the B&M profit margins are very small. Now, in terms of manufacturing the Daleks, in terms of making them, the cost is more than 20p. It's more than 20p. I don't know the exact manufacturing cost, just for manufacturing the Dalek, but I can tell you, basically, the manufacturing cost to make the set, that includes the Daleks, the packaging and everything, so basically make one of those sets, will probably be in somewhere of the realm of, say, 15 quid. Somewhere in that realm. But then also you've got to factor in the pack, shipping it over here and that, and then getting it over and that to B&M, and then for B&M to also, take their cut, and for Character to take their cut, and that on top of that. So the profit margins for each B&M set, I wouldn't be surprised, if it is in the pennies. I would not be surprised. It's probably going to be in the pounds. I reckon B&M are probably going to make, I don't know, a pack, let's say £1, £2 per Dalek set. and generally they normally manufacture. It's normally in the 3,000 to 5,000. So yeah, normally in that ballpark, and that is per Dalek set, which. So yeah, basically, like I imagine B&M is probably making maybe 10%, let's say 10% per Dalek set. So yeah, basically they have to sell it, a high volume, and they have to sell it quickly in that as well. They want to sell it as quickly as possible because again, every second it is sitting on the store, it's taking up valuable shelf space, because that is also a thing. B&M stores and basically most stores, they want the shelves to be as cleared out as quick as possible, because whatever is on the shelf, that is also advertising and that as well, it being on the shelf. So they obviously want to get rid of it and that as quick as possible so they can put new stuff and that to sell on there. So yeah, that's a quick explanation on that, on how it works, and yeah. But the Daleks do not cost 20p each to make. Maybe once upon a time they cost that much to manufacture. In fact, they probably did way back when, but not in the past 10 years. Not in the past 20 years, even. Thomas Jones is saying, if only you'd own a 3D scanner. If I owned a 3D scanner, why would I need a 3D scanner? Like, in terms of making my own? Because I could get a 3D printer and 3D print my own Daleks. I could get them 3D printed more accurately. But I won't, because there is something, you don't get the same feeling. Like, this is, obviously an official piece of merchandise. And that, it has that sort of collector's value in that as well, of it also being an official piece of merchandise. It doesn't have the same sort of feel as if it was, just a 3D printed thing that anyone can 3D print. It doesn't have quite the same quality to it, I guess. It looks so dark on this camera. The rubber parts cost a bit more. Okay, Daleks do not use any rubber. There is no rubber on a Dalek. Alright? It is all basically the plunger, the gun, and the eye are made of a softer PVC type plastic, and the rest of the Dalek, is made of a sort of harder type sort of PVC injection molded plastic. And then you've got, obviously, because Daleks are Daleks, you've got the 4 screws on the base holding the base on. You've got 2 screws holding the gun and the plunger in. On their ball joints, there's a little piece of plastic that holds it there. You've got 2 screws on the. Is it this side or that side? You've got 2 screws under the hemispheres holding these 2 bits together. You've got a screw holding the dome in place as well, and then you've got 2 little screws and a rod for the eye, and those cost more money. And also you've got a little metal rod on that going through the caster wheel. There, you've got a little metal rod on that just going through there through the caster wheel, and another metal rod for the other 2 going through the other 2 wheels and that, like that. So all those parts and that, they do cost more money, especially in today's day and age. That's why Daleks are the most some of the most expensive figures to make, because they've got so many bloody parts. They've got so many parts, and parts that are made of different materials to each other. Same with TARDISes and that as well. Although TARDISes are probably cheaper, probably slightly cheaper to make, which is ironic, or around the same price, to be honest. In terms of like ratios to them, because again, there's a motorcycle going by. Because TARDISes, there's less bits of them. There's less bits to separate, whereas Daleks, there's so many little intricate bits and that to make, which again ups the cost. because again, you have to also pay someone that to put them all together, and that as well. Because a machine does not put a Dalek together. It is not just a conveyor belt. No, someone actually puts these together. There's people on the manufacturing line who basically it'll be someone's job to put the base on, and then they'll probably have an electric screwdriver and that to put all the screws out on the base, or put the slacks out on the dome. It's not a machine that puts it all together and that like this. It's an actual person who eventually will put this all together. So yeah. In terms of the quality of the plastic, it is the same plastic that the Daleks have always generally used, at least for the main bit of the Dalek. The plunger and the gun are much softer than that than they used to be. And the reason is because it's, one, cheaper, but also it's to stop them from being brittle and snapping off, basically. But in terms of the quality plastic, part of them, the reason is, and you can see this line going down here. What is that line going down there in the plastic? Because that is not to do with the quality of the plastic. This is the mold. This is damage to the actual molds that they use. This is why the slack section had to be replaced. Because these molds have been going for over a decade. These molds have been used for over a decade, unfortunately. And basically, they're coming to the end of their life. Unfortunately, because they've been used constantly for years. And basically, they're starting to become damaged and that to the mold. Like, in terms of the actual mold that I get, it feels just as, like, basically, this Dalek feels just as solid as a Dalek from bloody donkeys years ago. Like, it doesn't feel, any different than that because of that. However, things that have changed is the quality check. The quality check now, these will be rushed through the quality check or won't be as thorough as they used to be. And the reason is costs. And that as well. That's why a lot quality control and that, it slipped down. It's not as bad as it used to be. It was, during the later years in the Forbidden Planet sex, it really bloody slipped. But yeah, that is basically a reason why. Thomas Jerome Newton says, maybe moulding Daleks out of meringue? Okay. Mr. Velasquez says hello. Shiny Wedge. The main body is ABS, which can be pretty expensive. It's really strong, impact resistant. Okay. Yeah, they generally is. The plunger and the gun and that are definitely, I know for a fact they're PVC. Those, because there used to be a tiny PVC loop on the end bit there, but the eye again and that there. So this is an ABS type plastic, which makes sense. I believe not the neck rings themselves, but the mesh around the neck rings and the shoulder section, that is a PVC plastic. You can tell because it's a lot softer than that as well, because they're designed to go over this. But yeah, basically, how much longer will they keep using this mold for? Now, a lot of people are also disappointed that there isn't a new 80s Dalek mold. And what do I mean by this? So, for those who don't know, for Revelation of the Dalek, for the Necros Daleks, they were brand new Daleks that were made using new molds. They were molds that were taken from an existing mold from, what was it, Avant Garden? Or something like that. It was basically a newer Dalek mold that already existed that they used. Which meant that the Daleks were slightly narrower, but also slightly taller, and that as well. And these were the same ones that would be used to make the Imperials and that, and then the Necros ones, some of them, I think 3 of them were later repainted to become the Renegades. Although 2 of the Renegades were actually the Shortcraft. 2 of them were original Shortcraft ones that were repainted. But anyway, so people were hoping that, you know, rather than just reusing the same old 60s, 70s Shortcraft Dalek sculpt, that they'd be brand new. The thing is, though, again, Daleks are basically the most expensive figure to make. And making a new mold for a figure, like, basically, for B&M, it was never going to happen for B&M. Like, basically, there's just enough budget to do for, like, a new head or a new, you know, lantern or something like that. Like, you know, small little things. Like, for example, new dome lights for Daleks, or new, like, attachments and that, new eye stalks, like, little things like that. But a completely brand new mold, that was never ever going to happen. I never expected it to happen. Just, I doubt it would have even happened with a retail release. Maybe. Depends how retail the retail release is, because the retail release of the 14th Dr. Sonic hasn't been very retail so far. But anyway, that was never going to happen. So yeah, there's been obviously tweaks to it to add the extra section here, which should have the mesh on it, because it is just a continuation of the mesh, but it doesn't. Which are bloody irritants. The Supreme Dalek, which is coming later in the year, its eye stalk is far too big. And also, it's given Alduar's given it the new dome lights, it shouldn't have those ones. It'd be better off actually going back to the Mini Cooper ones, not these ones, but the actual Mini Cooper dome lights for the Supreme Dalek from Remembrance. But he hasn't, and that, and we'll see what happens on that when they actually come out. Mr. Velasquez says, have you met any Doctor Who actors, and would you like to... Do you have any autographs or photos with them? I don't have any photos with any of them. The only Doctor Who actor I've met, now I don't really remember it, is David Banks. And that was outside the Doctor Who Museum in Blackpool donkeys years ago, where I didn't even get to see his face, because I saw him from a distance. He put on a Simon helmet, like they let him put one on, and I just got to shake his hand, and that was it. Yeah, I'm not really bothered about seeing them, to be honest. I mean, you know, if the offer came up, then yeah, I would. In terms of autographs in that as well, I do have autograph stuff, but I'm not really fussed on that, to be honest. I'm not really fussed. Yeah. I'd more like, to be honest, like, if I was to, I wouldn't want to just meet them. I would want to interview them. Like, not just the actors, but like anyone involved. I would much rather want to interview them. And God, this is why I can't watch any of the Comic-Con panels and that, because the questions people ask are fucking shit. They are really like, seriously, the people that get on that stage, like, what the, like, any question that, you know, you could ask them any question, and basically it's either a dumb fucking question that's like, who fucking cares, or it's a question that most people would probably already know the fucking answer to, which really irritates me. But anyway, Shiny, whatever his name is, I find it confusing how they could make 60s and 70s slacks when no one was complaining, but they didn't fix the Imperial ones. Yeah. That's Alduar. That's Alduar. That's Alduar. Welcome to Alduar's world, where he makes these stupid decisions. he made the stupid decision back in 2013, I think it was, to basically permanently modify the Imperial Dalek Slack sculpt to do that Renegade release at Toys R Us. And he fucked up on that because he forgot to get them to make sure to paint the slacks black. But anyway, he's using that one again, and it's just like, why for the resurrection? Why for the Renegade? Why has it got those again? Like, it needs a new slack sculpt. It needs a new one, not reusing that Imperial one that you've added the mesh to. Now, the 2 Imperial Daleks he had on his desk, those are not new releases. Those are the previous B&M ones that came out a couple of years back. Those are not the new release figures. So for anyone who's getting confused, thinking, "Ooh, they're new Imperial Daleks and that come out," no, those are the previous B&M ones. Those are the previous B&M ones that were previously released. They're not new ones. So for anyone in that who was getting confused on that, they're not the new ones. The Renegade and the Supreme Dalek are the new ones that are coming out. But yeah, it's just... Also, I don't like how pronounced the oval is. The oval just seems to stick out a bit too much on the new ones, which really it should be very flush. It should be very flush. Which, yeah, I don't know why. Again, probably because Alduar designed it alone. Alduar was not the sole person who designed these original 60s and 70s Dalek figures. Once upon a time, Alduar would have help from other people, including PB Props on YouTube. PB Props was responsible for the 7th, for helping to design the 7th Doctor's TARDIS, the classic sonic screwdrivers, and the 2008 more accurate NSD Daleks. Now, in terms of any new series stuff and that, generally it's a lot simpler because what they can do now is just scan the actual actor or monster prop, whatever, which means it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier when you can just do a 3D scan on that of something. But yeah, there we go. I've forgotten what my point was. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, if the Imperial Daleks, when they do get released, which is probably going to be next year, I say probably because Alduar, he likes to do this thing where he likes to deliberately do the opposite to something logical, because then he can go just like, "Ha, you weren't expecting that," kind of thing. Prime example is just changing the name of a TARDIS set to something else, like changing the Castrovalva TARDIS to the Visitation TARDIS, or was that the other way around? Because the figure didn't change, the TARDIS didn't change, he just changed the name. And nothing else about the set. Just so people would go, "Oh, it wasn't the one he said. That was late." It was exactly the same. So, yeah, but if we do, you need to, you can't do that again. Now, those Imperials cannot have the mesh again. Because if you've got the money to do new slacks, and if you're doing less 3-packs, then you've got more money to play with to go towards Daleks. So yeah, just like you're only doing 1 3-pack and that, so there's only limited things you can do with that. Like, put the other money in that towards that. What is though gratifying a bit now is that a lot of people are starting to wake up and go, "Oh, hang on a minute. That's not right with those Daleks. That's not right with this. That's not right with that." Because for so long, I was so sick of him getting blind the sex not getting blind praise, even when things are wrong, when things are fucked up. You get that, oh, it doesn't matter, just like, oh, be grateful for what you're given. But the thing is, we're not given these sets. We're not given them, we pay for them. It is not a gift, it is a product that you pay for. It is an item that you pay for, right? At school, that is what they are. And let's not pretend that they're anything else. That is what they are, so, yeah. Hello, Armand25, hello. Shane says, funny how we all know he said he had the chance to fix the TARDIS signs but had to choose not to. Funny because PB Props made a prototype. Yes, I know. Basically, I'll just use any excuse under the book, really. The TARDIS, the Sixth Doctor TARDIS set is interesting. Because, obviously, the Sixth Doctor is from the Ultimate Adventure, but the TARDIS itself is based on the TV prop. It's interesting, that. I knew it wouldn't be based on the Ultimate Adventure prop. Because there's no way. Because, I mean, that prop was very, very basic in that as well. But, yeah, in terms of the Sixth Doctor figure, obviously, he doesn't have any paint on his face. Now, there's advantages and disadvantages to that. The advantages is that you don't have the issue where the paint is applied too thick, so you'll be able to see, all the detail of the actual head sculpt, all the little details. So that's good. The bad news is, since he doesn't have any paint on him, and it's just molded plastic, he does look a bit pale. He does look a bit pale, and he doesn't, so there's that. It doesn't look too bad on him, but still. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm bloody out of breath here. I'm really. So, yeah, it is unfortunate. Now, what is he going? The thing is, I'm curious what he's done or what's going to happen with that new series Dalek set. From what we know, again, it's subject to change a lot, won't change this week. So what we know is going to be Dalek Sec, and most likely a standard NSD. At least that's what we know. So, Dalek Sec, will he fuck it up? Because the new series, the accurate sculpt of Dalek Sec has never been released in the UK. It has had 2 US releases, but never in the UK. And all he needs to do is just re-release that, and it'll be fine. But will he? Will he fuck it up? I don't know. And in terms of the NSD, you say, will he fuck it up? Because Alderaan does not leave things alone. The problem is, Alderaan, despite what he says, he's not making these figures. He is not choosing these figures, making these figures for the market, for the fans or whatever. It's for his own collection. Basically, at this point in time, and for the past few years, he basically is just doing what he wants. To be honest, I'm pretty convinced that he doesn't even want to do Daleks. To be honest, because Alderaan doesn't like having multiple of things. He's not an army builder, and that he likes each individual thing to be completely unique from each other. That's why sometimes he makes changes, like pointless changes, inaccurate changes, and fucks things up just because, it can't be exactly the same as last time, even if it was perfect last time. It's just things like that. Six Sec, what are your top 3 games? I'm not really a gamer. If they're going to do a Resurrection set like that, yeah, well, we'll see. We might get a Resurrection set now, especially considering a lot of people he's getting a bit of backlash on that because of it, so maybe, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, well, the Resurrection Daleks should not be this colour. They should not be this colour. For what you're seeing now, the Resurrection Daleks. I mean, he's never got the colour bang on. He's never got the colour very accurate, to be honest. So it'd be nice if we got a Resurrection Dalek that was, the correct shade of grey, because they're a slight bluey grey, but just not to what Alderar's done. I mean, even these aren't 100% bang on. They're pretty close. But even so, yeah. I mean, the Supreme's pretty bang on though, in terms of colour. But yeah, I think it's just because Alcabag doesn't like doesn't like the Resurrection ones. Because we've had two Resurrection Dalek sets: the original Forbidden Planet 4-pack and the Toys R Us 2-pack, and that's it. That is it now. The Supreme Dalek was meant to be released in Wave 2 of the Sound Effects wave, but that never came about. So yeah, anyway, we're going for over an hour now, and I am losing my voice here. I'm losing my voice. I'm going to get another drink in a minute. Yeah, still no message from Anthony Fergan, although he hasn't even seen the message. He's probably out. But yeah, if anyone knows the product code, so as soon as I've found any product codes, then I'll let you all know. Because again, that is the best way and the easiest way in that to find the sets. Will find out, when and where they're coming out. Got another comment there. Now, 70s and 80s guys don't have blue in their grey. That's only when the colour light. Well, I don't mean in a literal bluey grey, but they do have sort of a tinge to them, I'd say. Like, if you want to find the exact colours and exact everything, go on Dalek 6388's website. Although saying that, their website does need to be updated. Ever since they started doing their YouTube videos, which I do love. I love their YouTube videos. But unfortunately, it's meant the website has gotten a little bit neglected. So it would be nice if if the information on that they say in that videos goes on the website and that as well. But yeah, it's a shame we never got that movie license. It's a shame. It is a shame. It's also a bloody shame that the packaging is the bloody blister one again. I mean, I knew it would be, but just like, there are ways that you can use that you could have used a single sheet of plastic. What the fuck is that noise? There are ways you could have used a single piece of plastic and not have it be blistered onto there. Could have done that. I mean, to be honest, I don't know. You could have had them tied down to the bottom of the box, possibly. Mr. Valeska says, do you think there will be an episode about AI in new Doctor Who series? Oh, I'd be bloody surprised if there isn't, because AI seems to be the villain in fucking everything now, which means it's getting really, really boring. I mean, AI is the villain in FNAF Security Breach Ruin. That's the villain now. It's the villain in in a load of films and that recently in TV shows. It's like AI is the villain now. It's the hot new topic. AI is the villain. Which the problem is, it just it gets fucking boring. It just gets boring. I mean, we've had Doctor Who AI villains in the past. We've had artificial intelligent villains before. Like the boss from the Green Death, that's an artificial intelligence. Just off the top of my head, that's dating back to the bloody 1973. That. That's also a problem the Sidemen have as well, and that as well. Yeah, we need to have a proper Sidemen story. You know, where Cybermen aren't just a fucking AI walking robot. I think, writers, I've forgotten that I say writers. Chris Chibnall's written the last few, so yeah. AI is not boring because it is getting concerning. It is not. It is not getting concerning. AI is being used in the media as a scare tactic. Basically, Disney is trying to, for example, Disney is trying to scare the writers and actors strikes by saying that they're just going to that they're considering replacing it with AI. The thing is, though, AI technology is not there yet. Is not there. Have you actually seen what AI can do? Even if you feed it as much information as possible, like the things it can do are impressive. But it cannot just write a TV show or basically completely replace actors. That it's not there. It's not at that level yet. It is not. One day it might be. I'd be very surprised if it isn't. But it's not there yet. It's not at that point yet. Yeah, that was the other one I was thinking of. The new Mission Impossible. AI is the villain. Yeah, just no, just it's one of those things. Also, just like one of these things. It's the popular new thing that is just going to be done to death, unfortunately, and is starting to be done to death because and it's not a thing that hasn't been done before. AI as the villain has been done before in various media. I mean, Terminator. There you go. There's the one that movie franchise that is based upon it. And of course, can't talk. Gordon Bennett, of course, shows up. What is your favourite new figure set? Well, if we go in terms of the new 3-packs that are coming out, new B&M section, I should say. Without spoiling, what is your favourite? Well, okay. Okay. If we eliminate the ones that I haven't yet came out. Last year, my favourite set was the Genesis set. That was my favourite set. Yeah, I mean it's probably my favourite Dalek livery, and that I do love them. So yeah, that was my favourite from last year. I mean, in terms of the upcoming ones, out of the upcoming 3, the one I want the most, I don't know. They're all sort of equal. I guess in that regards. Gordon Bennett says, "Bloody got my name wrong in the basement you go." I don't have a basement. I don't know anyone who has a basement. Basements in the UK are fucking rare unless you're a pub. And the only reason pubs have basements is because most pubs are very, very old buildings. That's why. Like, basically, the only other place other than pubs, some shops have basements, some car parks. But in terms of houses, I've never been in a UK house that has a basement. Like an actual house. Never. That going back says, then your horse must be... Your horse? How house? I can't believe say it. Your house must be a pub then. If only. If only. I'm not in an actual house at the minute. I'm in my granny's apartment. So, yeah. And I confirm where I actually live, my actual house that I live in, my parents' house, that is not a pub either. I wouldn't mind living in a pub. I say wouldn't mind. I don't know, it could get very noisy. Yeah, actually, but I do love pub food. I don't drink, but I do love pub food. I had a pub lunch today. I went to Yates's today. I love a pub lunch, me. Love a pub lunch. Going by, it says 6sec has beer in that mini fridge of his. No, I don't. I don't drink beer. If you want to know what I have in my mini fridge at home, it's bottles of flavoured water from Poundland. It's those 4 packs of flavoured water. The strawberry and kiwi flavoured one. There you go, in a 4 pack. That's what's in my mini fridge. And also just a big bottle of water and that as well. And that's what's in there. Gunmike says, are you a fan of the 6th Doctor's costume? Yeah, I do like his costume. My favourite version of his costume is the Trial of a Time Lord version with the red and white polka dot cravat. That is my favourite one, which is the only major variant we haven't had released. Which is very exciting. Thoughts on apple juice, says Armand27. I like apple juice. I do really like apple juice, like in terms of like pure apple juice. I really like apple juice. Gordon Bennett says 6-second Poundland is like Alice in Wonderland. Once upon a time it was, not now, because Poundland, very few things are a pound. That flavoured water is one of the few things left in there that is a pound. Yeah, no. Out of classic series Doctor who has the worst costume? Jodie Whittaker, because it doesn't feel like a Doctor's costume. It just feels like, oh, let's throw a few things together and there you go. They're like the 6th Doctor's costume, the whole point of it was that nothing was meant to match. It was all meant to be, whereas Jodie's, it just feels like, it doesn't feel, it just feels like just throwing a few random things together and just seeing what fits. I do like the 5th Doctor's costume, although I prefer his season 21 version. Do you like vinyl records because they are your favourite shape, being a circle? Vinyl records don't actually have to be a circle. Obviously most of them are, but they don't actually have to be a circle. The bit that play, the grooves do, but the actual record itself doesn't have to be a circle. The reason I like vinyl records is because, one, it's hard to explain, but it's just that it's not to do with the sound quality, which is excellent though, but it's to do with the, it's something physical. Like you have something physical there, and it's entertaining in that. It's entertaining in that as well. It's like, you have that physical attachment and that to the music. Then plus it also forces you to sit down and listen to it, and that as well. You can't just press a button and then, oh, there's the music. You have to go out your way to say, what am I going to listen to? I'll listen to that and then purposely put it out. Can you can a record that is a cube and then show us what? Do you love it when I join your live stream? I'm indifferent. I mean, the more people join, the better. I remember way back in 2014 when everything Poundland was actually a pound. Those were the days. Those were the days where you could buy two 500ml bottles of Tango Apple or Tango Orange for £1. CD or vinyl? Well, I prefer vinyl. Though CD, I do still like CD, and plus CD is the cheapest physical way to get any form of music. In fact, CDs are normally a lot cheaper than getting a download a lot of the time, because one, you can rip a CD very easily in that as well. If Gordon Bennett and Mr. Villeska had a thumb war, who would win? Whoever's got the bigger thumbs. Exactly. Yeah, it depends how big your thumbs are. Mind also depends how strong your thumbs are and that as well. You got weak thumbs, it won't. Anyway. So yeah, I think I'll end that live stream now. Unless do you watch Mono Supreme? I've occasionally watched Mono Supreme. I know where he lives, by the way. Not the exact look, not his actual house, but I know the area in which he lives in. Because I've been to it. He lives not very far from me. Yeah. Because I watched his video where he goes around looking for Vietnam sex. I know. It just brings me joy. Almond27 says, I'm a CD guy and can't find reasonably placed. Don't call them. Call them a vinyl record player or call them a turntable. Do not call them a vinyl player. Do not call them that. They are not called that. Cannot afford one. Cannot afford £20 per album. They're not £20 per album these days. A lot. They're going up quite a lot. Some of them ridiculous. For example, I bought Eminem's Curtain Call 2. That was £50. That was £50. And that's only a 2LP. That was 50 quid. Yeah, I mean, some of them are still 20, but a lot of them now are generally around 25, 30 quid. And yeah, I can't afford that for each one I get. But then again, I don't get every album. Not every album gets a vinyl release either. Generally, I don't buy the CDs, generally. I will get a digital copy, but I generally won't buy the CDs. The only time I generally do get a CD now is if it's not available anywhere else, generally. Because I've got to save money somehow. Do you watch Captain Jimmy Pie? No. I've never watched his video. I've seen a couple here and there, but I haven't actually watched one of his videos in years. You bought a packet of M&Ms for £50. No, I didn't. I generally don't get them. Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. M&M, not M&M. Technically, I got it twice, technically, because the first one I got had two disc... Yeah, it had two disc ones in it. Didn't have disc 2, so I had to get a replacement. So there's probably someone out there who's got along with two disc 2s in it. Captain Jimmy Pie's new reviews are so much better, way more pragmatic and less stucking up. I don't know. M&M's for... Okay, Mr. Valeska, M&M's for £50. I mean, basically, I don't mean I bought M&M's for £50. I bought M&M Curtain Call 2, which is his second greatest hits, limited edition vinyl for £50. That was the orange version, which I unboxed on my other channel. What do you predict the 2024 B&M sets will be? Imperial Dalek Remembrance set. Possibly, hopefully, a Resurrection set. Whether that'll be in its own individual or as a Davros Dalek set. Because that is something Alduar did mention, that possibility. Possibly Emperor Davros, because that is something that even Alduar's been itching to get re-released. In terms of other Dalek sets, well, another new Series 1, the second new Series 1, which, I don't know, maybe an Assault, if we don't get this year, possibly an Assault Dalek or something, I don't know. And hopefully maybe a Supreme Dalek, new Series Supreme Dalek release. Lenny Simmons says, you look like a background character in Game of Thrones. Okay. Someone said, okay. Mr. Alexa says vinyls are too expensive. Well, everything's too expensive, unfortunately. CDs have gone up in price. It used to be that a new album was $9.99. Now it's generally $11.99. So unfortunately, the price value, because vinyl records, I remember when I started collecting vinyl records, they were 15 to 20 quid, whereas now they're generally in the price of 25 to 30 quid. Pop vinyls are not better. Pop vinyls are fucking shit. I have not seen Quantumania. I might see it one day, I don't know. Goldmate says, I hope you can find the mascot information. I have a little child and he's hope. I see it on his 8th birthday. Well, as I said, go back. If you missed the start of the stream, just watch the first half of the stream, because I talk about the Ian Lavigne animation and show a little bit of something. Would you rather sleep in a bed with Captain Jimmy Pie or Alduar? Fucking hell. Well, one, I could not sleep in a bed with anyone else. I couldn't. I really couldn't, because I toss and turn in my sleep. So yeah. So even if I was in a bed with either of them, I'm not going to say it anymore. I'm not going to say it anymore, but nah. If you had to sleep with anyone from SpongeBob SquarePants, who would it be and why? Sandy Cheeks. Because without her without her suit on, that's the reason. Mr. Blesser says, Sixek, how can you like the Chucky TV show? It's abominable. Because I do. Like, Season 2 was a massive downgrade from Season 1. So hopefully Season 3 is better, which is coming out in October. And hopefully it'll get a proper UK release, since it's getting released, I think, on Peacock at the same time. So, yeah. Mind, I still haven't watched Season 2 Sing 6 original broadcast, even though I do have the Blu-ray. If you had to sleep with if you had to sleep with Alduar, if you had to sleep with Alduar, then you would get to use his sweaty armpit. Ugh. Are you seeing Sandy as you are a furry? Yes. Miska Velasquez says, I might be meeting Brad Dourif in November at a convention. Okay. Oh, right. God, this has gone on much longer than I thought. Gunbank says, personally, would anyone go for Plankton as he could smash someone's back door in? I thought you were going to say something else there, but okay. Cyber FM says, who would win in a boxing match? Alduar or Captain Jimmy Pie? I'm gonna say Captain Jimmy Pie. Mainly because he's got youth on his side. So I would say Captain Jimmy Pie, but who knows? Shiny says, what classic villains would you want to see returning Series 14? I mean, I want the Daleks to return. And I would like a good cyberpunk story where they're actually the main villain. Or should I say the only villain? You know, that would be nice. I mean, RTD seems to be going more for comic book villains than that as well. So yeah, maybe he might stretch his tier to Big Finish ones as well. It would be interesting to see either the 9 or the 11th or someone, you know, one of the versions of that return in the actual TV series. That'd be nice. We got to see, or should I say, listen to the 2 in the Once in Future, latest Once in Future release. Oh, there we go. Gordon Bennett says, would you rather get into bed with Alduar and Captain Jimmy Pie or Ian Lavigne and Doris from the Green Death? Oh, if it's Ian Lavigne and Doris from the Green Death. Definitely, because Doris. CyberFM says, I'd love to see the Crinoids, but not sure how it would work. I mean, Crinoids have returned various times on a Big Finish. So, yeah. If you wonder how they would work now, then. Galaxy Cybermen are so overused, they should be out of the series for a while. No, here's the problem. It's not. People think it's the fact that they're overused. It's not. It's the fact that they're not in good stories. We have not had a good Dalek story or good Cyberman story. Like, see, the last good Cyberman story was World Enough in Time. In terms of, like, on screen. And the last good Dalek story I mean, Into the Dalek was alright. I guess, in terms of decent. And in terms of, like, good quality Dalek stories, I think you have to really go all the way back to the RTD era. Not that there aren't ones during the Moffat era that I didn't like, that I liked, but even so, like, in terms of quality ones. Cybermen are just used poorly. Would I sleep with Ian Levine if he gave me the animation for free? I don't want his animation if it's going to look like that test animation. I'll stick to the bloody loose cannon recons. Fucking I'll stick to fucking closing my eyes and listening to the soundtrack over that. Is it weird, given how popular the Ice Warriors were in the classic era, that they never returned after Monster Peladon? No, it's not surprising. It's because Philip Hinchcliffe basically wanted to get away from, basically, in his words, constantly reusing rubber monks, because that's his words, not mine. He wanted to create, new monsters, new villains, and stuff like that. And Graham Williams, who came after, just kind of continued with that afterwards. There was twice during the 1980s that GMT tried to take it back, tried to bring them back. Mission to Magnus, which was meant to be a story during the original version of season 24, but unfortunately never happened. No, season 23, sorry. Unfortunately, obviously, Doctor Who went off the air for 18 months and didn't happen. Then, in season 27, that they were meant to come back, but again, in Thin Ice, but again, didn't happen. Favourite Friday the 13th film? I do quite like Part 7. But to be honest, my favourite Friday the 13th film is only half a Friday the 13th film, and that is Freddy vs. Jason. That's my favourite Friday the 13th film. The next Doctor Who animated reconstructions will be made with AI. No. Part of it, like, maybe to do backgrounds and that, and to do certain motions, but no, they're not just going to pump out AI. Again, talked about this more later. Earlier, I should say, in the stream. So, yeah. The Pandorica Opens wasn't really a Cyberman story. It was a story that Cybermen were in. I'm sure I say one Cyberman was in, but like that. It wasn't really a Cyberman story. What do you think of Vogue Saxon 07? Well, what I think of him now and what I thought of him before, completely different. Because now, he's a piece of shit murderer. Yeah. His YouTube channel is still up to this day, which is very surprising. Although, if you know anything about YouTube, not really. But anyway, thank you for watching this live stream and that. Hope everyone enjoyed it, and yeah, I might do another live stream. Another point. What do you mean? What was the? Oh, the results. The trial is still ongoing. It's still ongoing. Unfortunately, well, it's still just ongoing. Basically, that was the last bit of news where I haven't had anything like that. So it just seems like something that is just gonna be going for God knows how long. But it's still ongoing. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's it for the stream, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.